On the edge of a quiet river lived a young otter named Oliver. Oliver had soft brown fur, bright hazel eyes, and a small blue scarf his grandmother had sewn for him. He loved splashing through shallow water, collecting smooth river stones, and watching fireflies dance above the reeds at dusk. But Oliver had one secret. He was afraid of traveling far from home. The river stretched beyond the places he knew, winding through forests, meadows, and hills he had never seen. Whenever older animals spoke about distant bends in the river, Oliver listened with curiosity, but also with worry. What if I get lost? He often wondered. One peaceful evening, the moon rose larger and brighter than Oliver had ever seen. Silver light shimmered across the river like a glowing path. Oliver sat beside his grandmother, who smiled as she watched the moonlight sparkle. "Grandmother," Oliver asked softly, "have you ever followed the river all the way to where it disappears?" His grandmother chuckled. "The river never truly disappears," she said. "It simply keeps going, discovering new places." Oliver stared at the silver water. "I wish I could be brave enough to explore." His grandmother gently placed a paw on his shoulder. "Bravery isn't the absence of fear, little one. Bravery is taking the next step even when you're afraid." Those words stayed in Oliver's heart. That night, as moonlight painted the river silver, Oliver made a decision. Tomorrow, he would follow the river farther than ever before. The next evening, carrying a tiny satchel filled with berries and his favorite smooth stone, Oliver began his journey. At first, everything felt familiar. The reeds swayed gently. The frogs croaked cheerful songs. The river hummed its comforting melody. But soon, Oliver reached a bend he had never crossed before. His paws hesitated. The shadows looked different here. The trees seemed taller. The river felt wider. For a moment, Oliver considered turning back. Then he remembered his grandmother's words, "Take the next step." So he did. One step became another. Soon he met a cheerful turtle named Theo resting on a log. "Where are you going?" Theo asked. "I'm exploring the river," Oliver replied. Theo smiled. "Then you're already doing something brave." The words warmed Oliver's heart. Together they watched fish leap through moonlit water before continuing their separate journeys. Farther downstream, Oliver entered a meadow where hundreds of fireflies glowed among the flowers. The sight was so beautiful that he forgot his worries for a while. A tiny mouse named Millie watched the lights with him. "Sometimes I get scared exploring too," she admitted. "You do?" Oliver asked. Millie nodded. "But every new place teaches me something wonderful." Oliver thought about that long after they said goodbye. As the night deepened, clouds drifted across the moon. The river became darker. The familiar silver path disappeared. Oliver's heart began to race. He could no longer see far ahead. Every splash sounded louder. Every rustling leaf seemed mysterious. Fear returned stronger than before. "What if I can't find my way home?" he whispered. For the first time, Oliver truly wanted to stop. He sat on a riverbank beneath a willow tree and hugged his blue scarf. Then he looked up. The clouds slowly moved away. Moonlight returned. The silver path reappeared across the water. Oliver took a deep breath. The river had not changed. The path had not vanished. Only the clouds had hidden it for a little while. Sometimes fear worked the same way. It hid courage without actually taking it away. With renewed determination, Oliver continued forward. Near midnight, he heard a faint cry. Following the sound, he discovered a young duckling trapped among thick reeds near the water's edge. The duckling was frightened and unable to free herself. Oliver felt nervous. He had never rescued anyone before. What if he failed? Then he remembered all the animals he had met, Theo's encouragement, Millie's wisdom, his grandmother's advice. Bravery was taking the next step. So Oliver carefully climbed over rocks, pushed aside reeds, and gently helped the duckling escape. When she was finally free, the duckling smiled with relief. "Thank you," she said. "You were very brave." Oliver blinked. Nobody had ever called him brave before. As they watched the moon reflected on the river, Oliver realized something important. He had not become brave because fear disappeared. He had become brave because he kept moving despite being afraid. The journey continued until Oliver reached the highest hill overlooking the river. From there, he could see the winding silver ribbon stretching through forests, meadows, and distant valleys. The sight filled him with wonder. The world was much bigger than he had imagined, and much more beautiful. As dawn approached, Oliver began the trip home. The journey back felt different. The river no longer seemed frightening. It felt familiar, friendly, full of possibilities. When he finally arrived, his grandmother was waiting beside the riverbank. She smiled before he even spoke. "You found something on your journey, didn't you?" Oliver nodded. "I found courage." His grandmother gently hugged him. "And where was it?" Oliver looked at the river, then at his own paws. "It was with me the whole time."